also suspended the minister in charge of agriculture, who had been giving his friends letters to go and take maize from the National Cereals Board, the current deputy president.
One trader brought in 212,000 bags of maize. The question is, even that manager who was receiving this maize, why didn't they ask themselves, where in this country can you be able to grow this kind of maize?
When it comes to corruption in the country, the best way to sum it up is that no stone is left unturned. From maize to office stationery, and in essence the taxpayers' money, we've seen it all misappropriated by the who is who in this country. In this series, let's explore some of the top political scandals that have rocked Kenya since independence. First on our list is the maize scandal. Maize-related controversies are the oldest and longest-running scandals in Kenya. After all, the crop provides us with one of Kenya's staple foods, and that is ugali. Therefore, you could say that maize is gold in this country, and the big people took note of this fact decades ago. It all goes back to 1966, when Kenya faced a biting maize shortage. The government decided to lift the ban on maize importation to cushion the local supplies. This saw the country obtain 250,000 bags of the nutritious yellow gold, as overseen by the then Minister for Cooperatives and Marketing, Paul Ngei. Under the docket, Ngei also served as the chairman of the Maize Marketing Board, which we currently know as the National Cereals and Produce Board, and that is NCPB in short. It wasn't long before a commission of inquiry was set up to look into a corruption scandal involving Paul Ngei. The report tabled evidence that Ngei had given his wife Emma, who operated the Uhuru Millers of Kangundo, better known as the Emma stores back then, the permit to purchase maize directly from farmers. It meant that she could bypass the NCPB, which Ngei himself chaired. The problem was that back then, the law didn't allow Kenyan millers to make such direct purchases because it will undercut the government's price control. In light of the findings, Paul Ngei went on a brief suspension, but he was soon reinstated. The Constitution Amendment Act No. 1 of 1975 gave the president the discretion of pardoning anyone found guilty of any crime that prevents them from holding public office. Also known as the Ngei Act, it's widely noted that failing to uphold the rule of law in this case set the precedents for future graft cases where political connections benefit government officials and their family members.
The MP sought answers over the maize scandal. The scandal apparently took a new twist after Ikolomani MP Boni Halwale tabled before the House documents alleging that Amaco Insurance, a company owned by the Agriculture Minister William Ruto, was working alongside an Indian firm in a bid to influence the award of a gunny bag supply tender.
Back in 2009, the current Deputy President, William Ruto, was heading the Ministry of Agriculture. That is when a 2 billion maize subsidy controversy cropped up. The allegations involved awarding briefcase millers large amounts of maize from the strategic grain reserve. These companies solely existed on paper. Genuine local businesses as well as briefcase millers were also awarded import tenders, and they are reported to have redirected bags of maize beyond the borders in a strategic move to evade the government's set price controls. Some of the imported maize was established to have been unfit for human consumption, but senior government officials still flagged off their release into the market.
The ministry never gave authority for the contaminated maize to be offloaded. However, and to the shock of all public health officials and Kenyans, the maize was secretly offloaded against the law and the ship allowed to sail past.
Fast forward to 2017, and the country supposedly faced another maize shortage. The government once again gave the go-ahead for importation of maize to supplement the local supply. Despite citizens questioning the legitimacy of the shortage, a supplementary budget was passed, and within 3 days, maize arrived in the country from Mexico. When questions were raised, the Mexican government denied the claims that the maize came from them. The story soon changed that the supplement had originated from South Africa. It wasn't until 2009 that the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission finally brought to book the government officials and NCPB staff members involved in the scandal.
One trader brought in 212,000 bags of maize. The question is, even that manager who was receiving this maize, why didn't they ask themselves, where in this country can you be able to grow this kind of maize? Because for you to produce 212,000 bags of maize, you need to cultivate more than 8,500 acres of land.
At the same time, the country faced yet another maize scandal stemming from unscrupulous NCPB officials colluding with traders to undercut local suppliers. The traders imported maize cheaply from neighboring Uganda and Tanzania and delivered them to the NCPB Western Kenya depots. The rogue traders were promptly paid, while local farmers are yet to receive payments for deliveries made at that time.
2009, the year when the Sirisia Member of Parliament won a court case, giving the orders to the NCPB to pay the directors of the Erad Supplies and the General Contractors Limited their dues for the supply of the 2 million bags of maize in the year 2004, or to cushion the country against famine. But despite NCPB making the payments, it was later established that the duo relied on the forged document.
And early this year, Sirisia MP John Waluke and his co-accused Grace Wakungu were found guilty and each sentenced to 7 years over a 300 million maize scandal dating back to 2004. Waluke and Wakungu operated Irad General Suppliers, a company that defrauded the NCPB and received 300 million after falsely claiming that the company suffered losses following a government supply tender that had been cancelled.